Hello, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to do a flip through of John. I recently finished John this year's study of John. So I wanted to do a flip through of this book. So you can see here, I studied this. I'm studying this along with my Bible reading plan and then also a sermon series that I'm listening to. So I've been listening to that sermon series for about 2 years and it's not done yet. It's probably not going to be done this year. And so I study John. John's one of my favorite books of the Bible. A lot of people love John. I think I've studied it every year. And so I've learned a lot through John. John is all about believing in Jesus. That's why they're showing you the 7 signs, the 7 I am statements, the 7 like Jesus's I ams. And it's all about believing in Jesus. So you can see some days I have a lot of notes. Some of these are sermon notes. Like this is a sermon note here, and then others of it is from my studying. So you can see I try to leave a little room because I plan to come back. This time I don't have a lot of tip-ins for this year because I had a lot of room to write because this is the Interleaved Journaling Bible. So it's the ESV Interleaved Journaling Bible. So there's a lot of space for writing in here. Okay, so we'll go back. I did have a tip in there. I can't remember exactly where it was. I think it was about here. And so like I said, I try to write small, so I'm most of the time working on my handwriting, as I mentioned in other videos. So I don't necessarily have a highlighting scheme that I use or anything. I just use whatever I feel like at the time. Sometimes I don't feel like highlighting, so I don't. I've been putting in this devotionals I found. I've been trying to like put it in here and there in the Bible. I've noticed like I really would like a journaling Bible that also has study notes and has devotions. This time this was from the ESV study Bible, and I loved the entire thing and I didn't want to write it all out, so I just put it in here. So you can see here I had some tip-ins. What I do for a lot of my tip-ins is I just use printer paper because I find can be small enough that it doesn't take up a lot of space, doesn't make your Bible too much bigger. And so this is John 17. And so this, it's a mixture of study notes from my personal study and then sermon notes. As you can see, this is where a lot of the sermon notes, I'll have more room because we're not to this part yet. But I did do this study through John here. So that is this Bible. And then I'm actually going to get my other 2 journaling Bibles and show you John in both of those. Okay, so this is John in my first journaling Bible. So you can see here I used a lot of post-it notes. But this was the first year I studied through John, my first year of Bible journaling. So this is a King James Journal Bible. I really like this journal Bible because of the lines, very faint lines. This is just like a single column with the margins. And so again, I studied this one. I love studying John every year. And so I use some highlighting. This is a book you could return to. So that was that journal Bible. And this is my second one. This one, I happened to study John last year. This one is my biggest one. So John last year, I listened to, I can't remember how many sermons in the series of John MacArthur's John series. It's like over 100, I think it was. So there's a lot of notes in here. As you can see, like you have to get all the notes out to see the text. It's buried. But that's why I love using sticky notes, because these stick and I can easily uncover them. And so this is a journal Bible I got from Ollie's. It was like $11. So it is double column. It does have red letters. It is King James, but the margins are pretty big. The paper is kind of cheaper in this. As you can see, the binding is like falling apart. But this was still a great study. So much information. Again, last year I studied John with that, and then was also with that sermon series, and then I've also been going as live with another sermon series through John the past couple years, and so this also had notes from that. So again, they were study notes, sermon notes, 2 different sermon notes, and this is one where I had tons of these, and these ones did not stick as well. I just ended up like slowly being like, why am I making notes? Because it was making it so thick. But like, I really love these bigger sticky notes too, especially for sermon notes. Especially if it's like an in-depth sermon, you need a lot of notes. And so that is John and that. All 3 journal Bibles, I've studied John. John is a great book to begin with. I know a lot of people say that, but it is true. It is a great book to start with. Especially if you are having trouble like believing in God, or that's what the whole book is about. So, or a refresher if you're have any doubts or anything like that, or just to learn more about Jesus. It is like one of the greatest books of the Bible. They're all great though, but I really enjoyed studying John, and I wanted to show all 3 of my journal through John. And hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time.